The prayer will be offered this morning by the good gentleman from Kent and 3 other counties.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Please bow your head and pray with me. Dear Lord, America is hurting. Pandemics, racial divides, job loss, and political division have caused great suffering. We are called to be salt and light on the earth. As legislators of many faiths, we can begin healing our land through prayer and action. Let us come together not just by words, but a faith that produces works. The love and grace of God can begin turning the tide of America. We look to you and to you only, Lord. Help us make wise decisions that move our state in the right direction. Help us do our part in praying and in staying with what we know is right according to the truth of your word. Teach us to make our actions count and our words matter, and line them both up with your sense of rightness, not ours. Guide us with your eye, grip us with your strong arm, teach us what we need to know to make our lives and our state count for you.
Amen. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. There being 127 members present, the House is still in session. The clerk will read the journal from the previous day.
Annapolis, Maryland, February 26, 2022.
Recognizing the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So much be considered the reading of the journal.
To orders, petitions, memorials, and other papers. Before we get started with the work at the desk, I would like to make a brief announcement this morning. First, I want to thank everyone for their adherence to our COVID protocols so far this session. Starting Monday morning, masks will no longer be required in the House office building. I ask that you continue to be respectful of those who wear masks and those with which you share an office. If you have any questions, please follow up with my office. Now let's get the people's work done. Introduction of House bills. The clerk will read the bills and their committee assignments.
House Bill 1472, Delegate Patterson, House Rules. House Bill 1473, Prince George's County Delegation, House Rules. House Bill 1474, Delegate Sample Hughes, House Rules. By order, Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Clerk will read the bond initiatives and the committee assignment.
Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 42, February 27, 2022, refer to Appropriations. Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 43, February 27, 2022, refer to Appropriations.
Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Clerk will take the call. There being 123 members present, the House is still in session. Calendar of third reading, House Bills number 15. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 288, Sales and Use Tax Baby Products Exemption.
Is on third reading and final passage.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As a father of 3 kids, I'm certainly glad to see a tax break when it comes to kids. As you know, they're awfully expensive. I have 3 lovely little cute blondies. So when I saw this bill, I was very excited. I certainly intend to vote for it, but I just want to point out something. I did the math. I took a look back at the last 7 years. I've got a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and 2.5-year-old. And what this bill will provide, would have provided me had it been enacted before my kids were born, is the following. My wife was really insistent that we get the really good baby bottles, you know, the glass ones, BPA free, all that stuff, that yucky stuff, you know, the glass was probably organic. I don't know, but we got 3 of those at $30 a pop, which is a $5.40 tax savings under this bill. Car seats are disgusting after you use them for a little while, by the way. We got 3 car seats at $125 a pop, which under this bill would provide $22.50 in savings. But then I remembered one of those car seats was given, the first child gets all the love from your family. So we had a baby registry, and that kid got everything. So we got a free car seat out of that deal. The second and third child didn't do so well, honestly. But I had to deduct out of that savings that 1 car seat. So the total savings for my family with 3 kids under this bill is $20.90 total. That works out to $6.96 per kid. You know, I'm appreciative. I think we need to do as much as we can to support young families. It's expensive, especially here in the state of Maryland. I did notice there's another bill that relates to diapers, and let me give you some advice. Don't go cheap with that either. Go for the good diapers. But you know, that whole diaper savings in itself works out to be about, I don't know, maybe $40 per kid. So under this bill, in total, for all of the years that you have the baby stuff going on per child, it works out to be about $47 in savings. So it's good between the 2 bills. But I have to tell you, Maryland has some of the highest taxes in the nation. Depending on what you look at, whether it's the preferred version of the legislature, we're like the 15th worst state in the nation. If you look at the numbers that I look at, which is the total tax burden, we are the 5th highest tax state in the country. So I think that, you know, this is good, and the bills that are coming through the legislature are good. It acknowledges that our citizens need some tax relief. But in my opinion, it just doesn't go far enough. You know, we have a real opportunity because of Maryland's current fiscal status to correct the wrong, the injustice that we have in our tax system in Maryland. And don't ask me, I don't know about you. I don't know if you have the same experience as I have. When I send out my newsletters and things like that to my constituents in my community, every single time somebody replies, I'm out of there. I moved, you can take me off your list. Thanks for the good work that you've been doing, but I just couldn't take it anymore because the taxes were too high. I hear it all the time, so I assume others must as well. I'm disappointed that we haven't done more to provide tax relief for all Marylanders, especially Marylanders at retirement, because it's like malpractice to retire here, fiscal malpractice. So, you know, I urge the body to vote for this bill. I'm going to vote for the $6.96 per kid benefit that this bill provides, but I think that more needs to be done. Thank you.
Recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm glad to hear that the gentleman's voting for it. I encourage everybody to vote for this bill. I'm proud that we're going to be voting today and tomorrow to reduce the sales tax burden on working class and middle class families in Maryland. I think this is a big victory for families across the state.
Okay. No further debate. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 129 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 288, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 364, Sales and Use Tax, Medical Devices Exemption.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate?
Madam Speaker.
Yeah, I see you there.
Okay. Good morning. Colleagues, as it was alluded to in the last speaker, in the last bill, we have another tax credit or tax break, which is a great thing. But one thing I wanted to point out, it was also alluded to, is that we have a $4.6 billion surplus. And for those of you like me that are not math people, I had to look it up, but $1 billion is 1,000 million. So we have a bill in front of us that gives a tax break of about a $4.5 million break to Marylanders, which is essentially 1,000th of what we could do. And I bring that up because we can do more and we should do more. And I also am planning on voting for this because not only is it important to help out our citizens that may need these medical products, but it's also important to offer a tax break. It just doesn't go far enough. I think we can do more, but this definitely is a start. I encourage my colleagues to vote for it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there any further debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 128 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 364, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read next
Madam
bill.
Speaker, my button literally didn't work.
Okay.
You get it? You get it right? Yeah. Yeah. So, if we could, yeah. I want to be in the green. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any debate? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You threw me off. House Bill 373 is on third reading and final passage.
House Bill 373, State Postmortem Examiners Commission Minimum Staffing Requirements.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 132 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 373, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read next bill.
House Bill 379, State Employee and Retiree Health and Welfare Benefits Program Eligibility for Enrollment and Participation Independent Agency Health Insurance Option Act.
Madam Speaker.
Is on third reading and final passage. Gentleman from Baltimore County.
I just had a quick question for the maker of the bill.
Let me just offer to yield to my subcommittee chair. He was standing up.
Oh, no, I just wanted to double check. So the administration or the agency is fine with the amendments, and there's no longer the concern that they had in the testimony?
Sure. Thank you, colleague. The administration requested a longer period of time to review whether or not these quasi-governmental agencies could qualify for the state health insurance system. The amendment gives them that additional time that they requested.
Great, and there was no fiscal note?
There's no fiscal note with this bill.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Is there any further debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 130 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 379, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read next bill.
House Bill 383, Young Readers Programs Establishment Young Readers Program Expansion Act.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 132 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 383, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read next.
Madam
bill.
Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Yes. The gentleman from Cecil County.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. On HB 379, my button didn't work. I'd like to be recorded in the green. Thank you.
Clerk will read it.
Household 1151, sales and use tax, diabetic care products exemption.
Is on third reading and final
Madam Speaker.
passage. The minority whip.
I was going to let you finish your spiel, Madam Speaker, if you...
The minority whip.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I know what you all think when you look at me. You say, that guy is the picture of health. He's a veritable Adonis. I mean, I get all that. But I have to tell you that I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when I was 30 years old. So, you know, a lifetime of biscuits and gravy and butterscotch pie and bad genetics did me in. But I'll also tell you, as one of the thousands of Marylanders who have diabetes, it's a extremely terrible disease. It's also an expensive disease, so I certainly appreciate the modicum of tax relief being provided by this bill. I also have to say I appreciate the majority party's newly acquired appetite for cutting taxes. It truly is an election year miracle. But all these little tax cuts in the majority party's package that we'll have both today and tomorrow total about $95 million, or 2% of the historic $4.6 billion surplus. I believe we need broad-based tax relief for our folks. Retirees are still fleeing this state in droves, and despite the narrative that they're just going to Florida and South Carolina where the climate is better, that's not accurate. They're also going to Pennsylvania and Delaware, where the climate, except for the tax climate, is the same as it is here. And members of the Republican caucus have proposed legislation to reduce the tax burden on retirees, to eliminate inflation indexing on gas taxes at a time where Bidenflation is killing us at the pump, and oil is 110
on the bill.
On the bill, Madam Speaker, is $110 a barrel. Now, broad-based tax relief is really what we need in Maryland. Our proposals, taken as a whole, account for 26% of that budget surplus, as opposed to the 2% in the package that we'll be voting on over the next day or two. I hearken back to a few years ago when I drew an analogy in a bill to reduce a wide range of fees to Beyonce. Some of you may remember this. And after the legislature had whittled it down, the bill had morphed into Phyllis Diller. Some of you, I'm sure, will recall that. The bill before us today, because it does provide relief for folks, many of whom are of low income or moderate means, it'll help them as they buy diabetes supplies and diabetes-related material, is not Phyllis Diller, but compared to what we're offering, I would say it's more like Ruth Buzzy. So thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm voting in favor of the bill.
Gentleman from Anne Arundel. Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't think I can follow that up, but if the floor leader could please stand for a couple questions. Anybody? There you go. I am interested in this bill as
Majority Leader.
Hi. As the minority whip was just alluding to, he's type 2 diabetic. I've been a type 1 diabetic since I was 9. Type 2, just to explain to everybody, is more of a lifestyle, they say. Type 1 is more a gift from God. Hereditary, I guess. And this is interesting to me because I think it was the great philosopher Chris Rock once said, there's no money in the cure, the money's in the treatment. And I've been hearing for 40 years we're going to have a cure. So I am interested in this. Can you tell me what products are actually included in the bill? Is it insulin? Because I know we had free insulin until the last administration came in and stopped that.
So thank you for the question. Insulin is already exempt from taxation under state law because it's a medicine, and we don't tax medicine in the state of Maryland, just like we don't tax groceries. So if you look at the bill itself, it actually specifically lists the products, diabetic care items, including glucose tablets, glucose drinks, glucose gels, blood and urine ketone meters and supplies, insulin pumps, insulin pump infusion sets, insulin pump reservoirs or cartridges, continuous glucose monitors and related supplies, syringes, insulin injection devices, insulin pens, insulin pen needles, lancets and lancet devices, and testing strips for measuring blood sugar.
Thank you. And I bring that up because I don't think most people realize, and obviously I want much larger tax cuts and credits, but I do appreciate this because this probably is, it's a huge difference. I'm blessed to have good health insurance, but these products cost an enormous amount of money. So it should bring some relief to people. And I thank the maker of the bill, and I thank the body for voting yes on this bill. Thank you, Mr. Leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Majority Leader.
I agree, and I commend the sponsor as well for bringing this bill. There are 600,000 Marylanders who have some form of diabetes, and by voting for this bill, we're giving them all a little bit of relief on the costs of treating their diabetes. So I think we can all be proud to vote for this bill today.
Is there any further debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1151, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Calendar of third reading, House Bills number 16. The clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 260, State Board of Physicians, dispensing permits.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 260, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 430, Human Services, Secretary of Aging qualifications.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 131 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 430, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, gentlelady from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My button didn't work. I'd like to be recorded in the green on the last bill. Thank you.
Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 444, Maryland Senator Edward J. Casemeyer, College Investment Plan State Matching Contribution, age of account holder.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 444, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 742, State Retirement and Pension System COVID-19 related death benefits sunset extension.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 99 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 742, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 743, Teachers' Retirement and Pension Systems Reemployment.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 743, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 970, Managed Care Organizations and Health Insurance Carriers Prior Authorization for HIV Post-Exposure Prophylaxis Prohibition.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 970, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed.
Madam
Gentleman
Speaker.
from Baltimore County.
Thank you. On House Bill 430, yea, please.
Calendar of third reading, House Bills number 17. The clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 48, Public Health, Maryland Suicide Fatality Review Committee.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 48, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 49, Public Health, Emergency and Allergy Treatment Programs, Nurse Practitioners.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 49, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 54, Higher Education, St. Mary's College of Maryland, Cost of Living Adjustment.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate?
Madam Speaker.
The gentleman from St. Mary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can the floor leader please rise on this?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great, good. Can you explain this? Because I'm reading the bill, it goes from 50% to 100%.
Yeah, it puts it in line with every other state institution in the state.
So,
Public institution.
every other state institution. So would other departments like MDOT, that gets 100%?
I'd have to defer to the subcommittee chair on MDOT.
Okay, I mean, I'm trying to look for like a uniformity across all state employees.
State public universities.
So just state, this only qualifies for state public universities?
Correct.
Okay, so if you were like...
Might apply elsewhere, but I wouldn't know.
Do you have somebody that would know?
I'm not sure it would be germane to this bill.
Well, I think it'd be germane if we're trying to put all state employees on par.
We're putting all state...
Because that is the question.
We're going to put all state public university employees on par.
Okay. What about community college? Would that be still on par?
Correct.
So community colleges now get a cost of living? Are you sure you're correct about that? Can I call a friend?
Come on.
They're not in the bill.
They're not on the bill. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for answering the question. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there any further debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 96 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 54, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 90, State Personnel Management System, Office of the Public Defender, Placement and Collective Bargaining.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 95 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 90, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 744, State Retirement and Pension System, Administration, Clarifications and Corrections.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 131 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 744, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Report of the Rules Committee. Clerk will read the bills and the committees they are referred to.
House Bill 1391, re-referred to Environment and Transportation. House Bill 1396, re-referred to Judiciary. House Bill 1397, re-referred to Health and Government Operations. House Bill 1398, re-referred to Ways and Means. House Bill 1400, re-referred to Appropriations. House Bill 1401, re-referred to Appropriations. House Bill 1403, re-referred to Health and Government Operations. House Bill 1404, re-referred to Ways and Means. House Bill 1450, re-referred to Environment and Transportation. House Bill 1416, re-referred to Ways and Means. House Bill 1419, re-referred to Environment and Transportation. House Bill 1423, re-referred to Economic Matters. House Bill 1424, re-referred to Economic Matters. House Bill 1425, re-referred to Appropriations. House Bill 1428, re-referred to Environment and Transportation. House Bill 1433, re-referred to Environment and Transportation. House Bill 1438, re-referred to Health and Gun Operations. House Bill 1442, re-referred to Judiciary. House Bill 1444, re-referred to Ways and Means. House Bill 1446, re-referred to Appropriations. House Bill 1447, re-referred to Economic Matters. House Bill 1448, re-referred to Judiciary. House Bill 1450, re-referred to Appropriations. House Bill 1451, re-referred to Appropriations. House Bill 1461, re-referred to Economic Matters.
With that, that ends the work at the desk. Committee announcements, appropriations.
I don't know if we meet this afternoon or not. Isn't that bad? No meeting. Thank you.
Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, the House Judiciary Committee will be meeting at 1 o'clock today for bill hearings.
Environment and Transportation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Environment and Transportation Committee will continue its public hearings at 1 p.m.
Ways and Means.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Ways and Means Committee will continue public bill hearings at 1 p.m.
Economic Matters.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Economic Matters Committee will have bill hearings at 1 p.m., followed by a subcommittee chairs meeting once the bill hearings end. Thank you.
Health and Government Operations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That committee will meet at 1:30 p.m. today.
Judiciary.
I'm sorry, Madam Speaker, I forgot. The House Judiciary Committee will have a voting session this afternoon, 30 minutes after the bill hearings end, or 4 o'clock, whichever is earlier.
Anything on rules? No. Caucus announcements. Quorum call before adjournment.
Madam Speaker?
Has everyone recorded their presence? Clerk will take the call. There being 133 members present, the House is still in session. Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand adjourned until Friday, March 4th at 11 a.m., Legislative Day, February 28th.